Good morning, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. Pardon me. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person that committed the crime. As you sit before me today, this morning, of course, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office can prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this morning. That is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when the next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And now I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hand and be sworn. You all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Brittany Enriquez. Brittany, what's your date of birth?
1988.
Brittany, the charge is possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, if you wish to represent yourself, you're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Myself?
State, what can you tell me?
It's showing that she's a multi-source offender, showing some history out of New York, a DUI offense in 2010, no disposition, criminal possession of controlled substance, as convicted in 2013 out of New York. I have a charge of burglary, as convicted upon pleading guilty 2014, also out of New York. And I have a petty larceny. It says that there was a time served of 1 month in 2014 as well.
Brittany, I have an address for you on Plamosa Street in Spring Hill. Is that where you live? How long have you lived there?
11 years.
Okay. You have a job these days?
No, I just had a son, and when he was here in 5 months, I was going to get a job.
Sounds good. I'll set your bond at $500. I'll have you back in court on the 21st of March, okay?
Okay.
Christine Latman. Sorry. Morning, Christine. What's your date of birth?
2/14/86.
Christine, the charge this morning is driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State what you're
Showing a failure to appear reference in Palm Beach County in 2012, disposition guilty convicted in 2011 for violation of pretrial release conditions. I have that is what I'm showing, Your Honor.
She's on probation for a petty theft.
A petty theft. She was taken to January 31st, and she had a first appointment for a mail-in.
Okay. Christine, where you been staying lately?
Me and my mom and my daughters are living with my aunt.
Is there an address there?
Yeah.
What is it?
8146 Omaha Circle.
Okay. All right. So, Christine, on the driving charge, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. This one's coming back on March 26th. Before you bond out, you need to understand that because you've picked up a new charge while on probation, they're going to swear out a warrant for your arrest on a violation of probation. That'll happen sometime next week. The bond on that warrant will be no bond. If you spend money getting out on this charge before that warrant comes, you may lose that money. I'm not telling you you can't bond out, I'm just telling you that's coming, so be aware. Okay? Very good. You'll be back in court on this on the 26th. Thank you. Maria Rivera. Morning, Maria. What's your date of birth? Oh, okay. Have her have a seat. Juan Carlos will be back in a minute. Danielle Smith. Morning, Miss Smith. What's your date of birth?
12/18/90.
Pardon me. Miss Smith, you're here on a charge of battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Your Honor, this is the only history I'm showing.
And Ms. Smith, I have an address for you on Satin Leaf Run in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
2 years.
And does Mr. Gardner live there with you?
Yes.
Do you have a job these days?
I do.
What do you do?
I work at Winn-Dixie in Ridge Manor.
Okay. All right. So, Danielle, I'm going to set your bond at $50. However, a condition of the bond is that you're going to have no contact with Jeffrey until we get this case resolved. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact him through any social media, you don't have a third person contact him, you don't go where he lives, you don't go where he works, you don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting him, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if he wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear his voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see him, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that he cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision he gets to make. He may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. He may tell them he's not interested in pursuing this matter. But that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who will be handling your case. Unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I've got to hold you today up until 4 p.m. so that if he wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only would you get new charges here, but you could get your bond revoked here. You could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as the home on Satin Leaf goes, as long as he stays there, you'll have to stay someplace else until we get this case resolved. You can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. But to do that, you'll have to contact the sheriff's office first. They'll meet you there with a deputy. You'll have a few minutes to grab your things and get going where you're going. We're going to have you back in court on the 21st of March. Very important, Danielle, that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Linda Sturgill. Morning, Linda. What's your date of birth?
12/2/76.
Linda, I have some warrants for you today. First one was signed by me. I found probable cause for one count of child abuse without great bodily harm, and I have 2 violation of probation warrants. Each of those was signed by Judge Rupi, so she found probable cause for the VOPs. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself, you're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
Appoint the PD. I'm going to leave the bond on the child abuse charge per the schedule, which is the $2,000. That case is coming back on the 26th of March. Condition of that bond that you'll have no contact with the alleged victim. Then on the 2 VOPs, of course, the bond is no bond.
John, she has some front end on the VOP. She's got 14 days of front end.
She's got a 60-day record. So, with the open phone, I would rather somebody at least talk to her before she takes the plea. And she's on the 60-day rec. She's going to come back in 3 weeks, so she'll be good. So, Linda, on the 2 VOPs, I'm going to leave the bond at no bond. I'm going to appoint the public defender in both cases. Both of the VOPs are going to come back on the 16th of March, so it's just 2 weeks, Judge.
Okay.
So the public defender will come see you. My guess is by the 16th you'll get your 2 VOPs worked out and then be able to focus on the other charge. But the PD will come see you before all your court dates at the jail, okay? Thank you. Dorothea Thompson. Morning, miss. What's your date of birth?
1/1/69.
Dorothea, the charge is possession of controlled substance. This is pursuant to a warrant that Judge Rupi signed. She found probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
Appoint the PD, Steve.
I'm showing a disposition guilty, convicted, resisting without violence in 2016 out of Fernando County. Disposition guilty, criminal mischief, $200 or less. 2015 out of Fernando County. Driving with license suspended, habitual traffic offender, disposition guilty in 2015. A criminal mischief charge, disposition guilty out of 2011 out of Fernando County. A trespass, armed trespass, disposition guilty 2011 out of Fernando County. A probation violation reference out of Fernando County in 2007. Disorderly conduct, disposition guilty in 2008 out of Fernando County. Aggravated battery with great bodily harm, disposition guilty 2004 out of Fernando County. And that is what I'm showing, Your Honor.
Dorothea, I have an address for you on Champion Drive here in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long you been there?
About 2 months.
Okay. You got a job these days?
No.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $1,000. I'll have you back on March 26th. Make sure you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
All right.
Very good. Maria Rivera? Good morning, ma'am. What's your date of birth?
Buenos días, señora. ¿Cuál es su fecha de nacimiento?
21 de octubre del 54.
The 29th of October of 54.
Ma'am, you're here this morning on 2 warrants out of Hillsborough County.
Señora, usted está compareciendo esta mañana por 2 órdenes de arresto del condado de Hillsborough.
The judge or judges that signed these warrants found probable cause.
El juez o la jueza o los jueces que firmaron esta orden han hallado motivo fundado
For 2 counts of dealing stolen property
por 2 acusaciones de tráfico de bienes hurtados.
and 2 counts of defrauding a pawnbroker.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, this is the interpreter. Could you repeat that last one
2
again?
counts of defrauding a pawnbroker.
Okay. Y 2 puntos de cargo de defraudar una casa de segunda mano.
The bond on the warrants totals $19,000.
La fianza total en ambos es de $19,000.
I cannot change that bond.
Yo no puedo cambiar, modificar esa fianza.
If you were able to post the bond,
Si usted puede pagar la fianza,
then you could go down to Tampa and find out when they want you in court.
entonces usted podría ir a Tampa y enterarse de cuándo es que ellos quieren que usted comparezca.
If you can't post the bond,
Si usted no puede pagar la fianza,
then we'll notify Hillsborough County,
entonces le notificaremos al condado de Hillsborough
and they'll have 5 days to come pick you up.
y ellos tendrían 5 días para venir a buscarla.
Very good. Thank you.
Bien, gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shane Hayden. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
1/2/91.
Shane, the charge this morning is felony domestic battery by strangulation. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
PD.
I'll appoint the public defender, Steve.
Your Honor, I'm sure the defendant is a single source offender, and this is the only charge.
All right. Shane, I have an address for you on Linden Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
2 months.
And Miss McGlinchey lived there as well?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
At the Walmart Distribution Center in Brooksville.
Right. All right. Shane, I'm going to set your bond at $2,500. Condition is that you have no contact with Sarah. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes, sir, but when I was told by the officer they could send us both to jail because I was strangled too.
Mr. Hayden,
but I
please
mean-
don't talk about the facts of what happened. We'll have somebody from the PD's office come out and see you at the jail, or you can call us as soon as you bond out. There's nothing you can say right now that's going to make the situation better. All you can do is make it more difficult for us to help you in the future.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you understand when I explained no contact?
No contact, yes, sir.
Okay. Also have to hold you up until 4 p.m. so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we'd know where to find you. I'll have you back in court on the 26th of March. As far as that Linden Drive address goes, if she stays there, you've got to stay someplace else. You can go by one time to collect your things, but you must contact the sheriff's office first. Very important, Shane, that you call the PD's office when you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sean Campbell. Morning.
Morning, Judge.
Morning.
7/13/85.
There we go. Okay. So now, I don't know if you guys remember, Sean was here earlier in the week, and I think I moved them all to Judge Ruby. So there should be so I just need a return date. That 322 is, well, that one is the one that I think we moved. So, well, because we did it 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. It's Tuesday, I think.
This is a felony, though.
This one is? Oh, this is the meth, I know. But, okay. What happened is he had a case, he picked up another case, they asked me to RCL him. This is on Tuesday. I didn't. It was 2 misdemeanors. I moved them both to Judge Ruby's docket. Now it's Friday, and there's now another case, so I'm planning to RCO the misdemeanors, but I'm trying to figure out where they are, so.
I never bonded out, Your Honor. It's just old charge that caught up to me.
It's true.
Oh, he is, that's right, it's 214. Okay, then don't worry about it, wherever those are. All right, you want the PD, Sean?
Yes, sir.
Set the bond on this is meth. I'll set it at $2,000. This one's coming back the 26th of March, and if you don't get out, PD will come see you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good?
Thank you.
Yep. Kyle Ehat. Morning again, Kyle. Date of birth.
3183.
And Kyle's charge is possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. Going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD. And do we have any way of remembering what Kyle had earlier this week and where that went? Okay, and has they got a case number yet? And it showed that he bonded out sometime in the last day or two? So what? That's the only thing that's open is that ZF case. you guys know how that happens, because clearly he got out, and the bond doesn't show in the system. Is that just another one of those things where it takes 73 days for stuff to show up? Well, I mean, time standards is 3, so it takes 7. Okay. Okay, I'm going to appoint the public defender on this one, Kyle. I'll set the bond at $1,000. I'm going to revoke your pretrial release in 18 CF 483 because I think you bonded out on it. We're going to hold you without bond on that case until the 26th of March. This case will be back on the 21st of March. Public defender will come see you about all your cases before your court dates, okay? Thank you.
483 on the 18 CF case number? 483 was
483, yep. Benjamin Franklin.
Morning.
Morning, Ben. What's your date of birth?
6/11/81.
Very good. Ben, the charge is felony possession of marijuana. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll point the PD. State.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm showing adjudication withheld of grand theft in 2014, and a guilty convicted of refused to submit to DUI in 2014, and a guilty convicted of a driving with license suspended in 2014, a DUI guilty convicted in 2014, and that's what I'm showing, Your Honor.
And Ben, I got an address for you on Murraysville Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
Several years.
You got a job these days?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I run a shrimp boat in Randy Beach.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $1,000, Ben. We'll have you back in court on the 26th of March. Make sure you get a hold of the PD when you get out, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony Fuzz. Morning, Anthony. What's your date of birth?
12/20/90.
Anthony, first thing I have is a warrant that was signed by Judge Neal. He found probable cause for possession of cocaine with intent, sale of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a church, unlawful use of two-way communication device, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I have another warrant, also signed by Judge Neal, where he found probable cause for possession of cocaine with intent, sale of cocaine, and unlawful use of two-way communication device. And then apparently you're currently on probation, is that right?
Yes.
So we have a probable cause arrest for a felony VOP. It's probable cause all the way around, Mr. Fuzz. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I'm getting a private attorney.
Very good. State, what can you tell me?
Showing a single source offender, showing a aggravated assault in 2013, count of Brooksville, a probation violation reference in Fernando County in 2012, disposition guilty of a possession of a controlled substance, which was referenced to ecstasy in 2011, a null cross valid DO, and a probation violation reference and a failure to appear reference out of Hillsborough County in 2010, and a disposition guilty of a possession of firearms in 2009 out of Pasco County.
All right. And Anthony, got an address for you on Semple Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
Okay. You got a job these days?
No.
Very good. So on the first warrant that Judge Neal signed, I believe the bonds per the schedule, which is $5,000 on the sale, $10,000 on the sale within 1,000 feet, $5,000 on the two-way communication device, $1,000 on the paraphernalia. That's $21,000 on that warrant. On the other warrant, it's $15,000. Of course, on the violation of probation, it'll be no bond. All your cases are coming back on the 26th of March. When you get a hold of the lawyer, make sure that you tell them that you're coming back on the 26th, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Jonathan Gardner. Morning, Mr. Gardner. What's your date of birth?
March 2nd, 1989.
Mr. Gardner, I have, first thing I have for you is a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. Apparently you failed to appear in his court for trial on a grand theft. And then I have a warrant for failing to appear signed by Judge Rupi. Apparently you failed to appear in her court on a loitering and prowling and a resisting. As to those charges, you can represent yourself. You can hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD on Judge Merritt's warrant. The bond is no bond. I can't change that. I will send you back to see him on March 22nd for a pretrial, and apparently you're set for trial on the 26th. The PD will come see you before that. On Judge Ruby's warrant, I will leave the bonds per the warrant, which is $1,000 and $2,000 respectively. And those cases will be coming back on the 16th of March. They may have told you the 21st. The right date is the 16th. Public defender will come see about all your cases at the jail, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah. I think 26 or 20, yeah, because he had a misdemeanor today. Yeah, it's a paraphernalia. Yeah. Joel Lewis. Morning, Mr. Lewis. What's your date of birth?
1980 on.
Mr. Lewis, the charges of a battery being domestic in nature is a second or subsequent charge. As to that charge, there is probable cause. You want to represent yourself. You wish to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender? I'll appoint the PD.
Showing a pretrial release violation, 2017 disposition guilty, a kidnapping false imprisonment charge, disposition guilty, 2017, a battery, 2017 disposition guilty, all out of Pasco County, a battery in 2014, disposition guilty, out of Escambia County, 2013, a marijuana possession, less than 20, 2002 disposition guilty, out of Escambia County, a now cross domestic related battery in 2002, and a robbery disposition guilty out of 2002 out of Escambia, disposition guilty of giving a false name or ID to Leo, disposition guilty in 2002, a disposition guilty of a battery in 2001, a disposition guilty of a lewd lascivious behavior in 2001, disposition guilty of a fraud 2001 out of Escambia County, an assault or battery on an officer, disposition guilty in 2000.
That's good. That's good. Joel, I got an address for you on Covington Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
3 years.
Does Miss Driver live there as well?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yeah, I do. No, sir.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $5,000. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Miss Driver. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir. But I'll be able to just go get my own stuff.
Yep. Did you heard me and you understood what no contact means?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also going to hold you till 4 p.m. so that she wants to serve you with an injunction. we know where to find you. Also going to order that if you are bonded out, that you'll be subject to GPS monitoring at your expense. You can go by the house one time to grab your things, but you've got to contact the sheriff's office first. I'll have you back in court on the 26th of March. Make sure you contact the public defender if you get out, all right?
All right.
Thank you. Fred Phillips. Mr. Phillips, what's your date of birth?
9/29/1979.
Mr. Phillips, the charge is battery. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
I'm showing that he's a multi-source offender with a disposition, like it says, convicted in 2010 for disorderly conduct out of Louisiana. Other than that, there's no Florida history.
And Fred, I have an address for you on Broad Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
2.5 years.
Is that where Mary lives as well?
Not in the same area now.
Okay.
She lives in lot 90.
Okay, you're right. That's okay. Do you have a job these days?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Mary. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Have you back in court on the 21st of March. Very important, Fred, that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right?
All right.
Thank you. Maurice Rhodes. Mr. Rhodes, what's your date of birth?
Good morning. 3/18/81.
Mr. Rhodes, the charge is violation of an injunction. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Your Honor, yesterday morning the court has a document that was upheld. She went and had that upheld in the morning.
Okay, well, that'll all get figured out somewhere down the line. Right now, I have probable cause that you violated the injunction. So you're going to get your own lawyer, you want to represent yourself, or you want the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Your Honor, I'm showing I have no charges that are cuff dispositions. I have several non-prost charges, such as petty theft, that are pretty recent, but I don't have any charges that are disposition guilty.
Okay. And Maurice, I have an address for you on Lake Deborah Drive in Orlando. Is that where you live?
That's one of them, yes.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
Sell insurance.
Okay. Set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Kathia Rhodes. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that?
Yes.
Very good. I have you back in court on the 21st of March. Make sure you contact the public defender as soon as you get out, okay? John Rios? Mr. Rios, what's your date of birth?
4/24/91.
Mr. Rios, the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Myself.
Very good. State.
Showing that he's a multi-source offender, and I'm showing a forgery, false authentication in 2018. Just trying to see where it's out of. That's the only charge that I'm showing, Your Honor.
All right, John, I have an address for you on Silver Bell Loop in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
How long have you lived there?
There about a month. I've only been in Florida for about 4 months.
Okay.
Before that, I was on West Street in Spring Hill.
Okay. And Ms. Reptalis lives there with you?
Not anymore. She was moving with her father, I believe yesterday, in Port Richey.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
I did until 2 weeks ago, but then I got fired because I had to go to New Jersey for about 2 weeks to handle something with my daughter.
Set your bond at $500. Condition is that you have no contact with Ms. Reptalis. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
And you understood that?
Yes.
Also going to hold you up until 4 p.m. so that if she wants to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. I'll have you back in court on the 21st of March, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey Romano. Jeffrey, what's your date of birth?
April 26, 1986.
Jeffrey, I have 3 warrants for you out of Marion County. On the warrants, on the first one, there's 1 count for failing to appear. On the next one, it's 4. On the third one, it's 1. There's 6 counts where the judge or judges apparently believe you failed to appear. In each instance, they set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. We'll let Marion County know that you're here and ready to go. They'll have 5 days to come get you. It shouldn't take that long with Marion County, but if for some strange reason you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Ricky Schultz. Morning, Mr. Schultz. What's your date of birth?
8561.
Mr. Schultz, the charge is grand theft auto. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
And then you got pretrial diversion in 95 for theft, grand theft, pretrial diversion in 96, both on Pasco, adjudication withheld for battery in 1999, a DUI disposition guilty in 2002, probation violation reference in 2003 on Fernando, retail grand theft out of Fernando County in 2008, a disposition adjudication withheld for larceny in 2008 out of Fernando County, failure to appear reference in 2014 on Fernando County, marijuana possession, misdemeanor, no disposition on Fernando County in 2014, failure to appear reference in 2015 on Fernando County, as well as a probation violation reference, showing that he's a multi-source offender as well. That's okay with that history.
Excuse me, that's not me. I don't have all those charges.
What's the last 4 of your social, Ricky?
5369.
That's the social security I'm showing on this criminal history sheet.
Okay. Ricky, I have an address for you on Took Shore Drive in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
How long you been there?
About 15 years.
You got a job these days?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
Refrigeration, air conditioning.
Okay. We're going to leave your bond at the $2,000. I'll have you back in court on the 26th of March. Make sure you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
All right.
Thank you. Andrew Thomas. Morning, Andrew. What's your date of birth?
2086.
Andrew, you're here on a warrant, local warrant. The judge that signed the warrant found probable cause for obtaining property by worthless check, 2 counts. And then there also is a probable cause arrest for a VOP. Looks like you're currently on probation in Volusia County. Is that correct?
Yes.
Very good. As to the local charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
For now, public.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender. The bond on the warrants is $1,000 on each count, so that's a total of $2,000. Those charges are coming back on the 26th of March. As for the Volusia VOP, of course, the bond will be no bond. How this will work for you, Andrew, is if you can post the bond on the local charges, then they'd have Volusia come pick you up so you can deal with the VOP. If you can't post the bond on the local charges, then you'll stay in jail here until you get the local charges resolved, and then Volusia will come pick you up, okay?
Okay, so the local bonds have already been posted.
Okay, well, if the locals are already posted, they're going to let Volusia know you're ready to go, and they'll have 5 days to come get you.
Okay.
All right? Thank you. Terrence Thomas. Morning, Mr. Thomas. What's your date of birth?
9175.
Mr. Thomas, you're hearing a warrant signed by Judge Rupee. She found probable cause for a felony petty theft. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD.
Judge, his other cases are set for arraignment with me next week on the 9th. No, I'm sorry, on the...
And there's no
Yes, on the
RTO
9th.
problem or anything like that?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. This was
Okay, very good. Okay.
And yes, it's the 9th, Judge.
Okay. So he has you guys on all the other ones?
Yes.
All right. So the bond on this warrant is $500. I won't change that. Terrence will move it, appoint the public defender, and move this one to the 9th of March with your other cases. Okay?
Sir.
Terrence Palmer.
Thank you.